Hello there, YouTube. So the big reveal I mentioned earlier is that I've officially rebranded my YouTube channel from my actual name to Omega Rose Productions. And of course, the question is going to come up of why I would do that. And the reasoning is actually kind of simpler than what you may think. But in order to tell you the story properly, I'm going to have to rewind time a little bit, 15 years or so, back to the year 2001. I was 18 years old and naive about the way the book publishing world works as a business model, and I thought that I had accomplished something by joining a number of online poetry communities, and alongside a former partner of mine, even helped found one. But without getting too mushy on the subject, she and I were in one of those awkward, long-distance internet relationships, and our usernames kind of complemented each other in the end. She called herself Dragons of Rose, and after the biblical implications of the Greek letter Omega, I picked out the Omega Rose. It was a cute nod to her at the time, and I thought she would be my everything, you know? What can I say? I was kind of young and dumb. But, for a while it was great, and I thought that would be how stuff would work out. You know, stuff would just magically work out for she and I, but it just wasn't meant to be, and I still think the world of her, though, even though we've barely spoken for much of the last decade. But I digress from the actual main plot of my video here. In between 2003 and 2004, I don't really remember all the circumstances of my departure from that forum, but it wasn't long after our eventual breakup. I had begun to loathe working on the forum, actually, and I just felt it was time to move on with my life. And I had always been a gamer alongside my artistic pursuits, and in a lot of ways, I always felt more comfortable talking about the Final Fantasy series than I did poetry, because there was just something more intimate about my writing that I just could not really bring myself to open up about. But yet, I felt like, again, using Final Fantasy as an example, was like something I could find common ground with people on, because I honestly had a hard time doing that most of my life. I still have problems founding friendships and relationships to this very day. But my attention focused on playing Final Fantasy XI not long after the split up between she and I had occurred. And I made several friends in the game, but due to a lack of how MMORPGs worked, I got frustrated very early on and left the game. I stayed out of it for several months until talking about the game's mechanics with a friend from work at the time, and he talked me into giving it another shot. And we're talking late 2003, early 2004, and I'm sitting in my chair, struggling to name my new character, who I'd previously named after the rock musician from the 70s, Frank Zappa. And I'm like, okay, what do I name this one? What do I name this one? And after about 30 minutes of sitting there watching the cursor blink, I finally just typed in the Omega Rose, figuring that I'd probably just end up quitting out of frustration again. But how wrong was I there? And I decided on a different starting class, and it's because previously I was a warrior, and I just wasn't cut out to be a tank. It didn't seem like. So I leveled monk, and I was doing well with monk, and I ended up leveling different jobs as I fell into a good group of people. I mean, I enjoyed playing the game with them. They were helpful to an extent with getting my feet wet in the mechanics of the game, some more than others. And I'm thankful that I can still consider some of those people friends to this day. even though some of the more prominent ones I don't really talk to all that often. But I am grateful for their presence in my life, even though it might not be as exemplary as it once was. And but I digress. For some reason, though, these people, they tolerated my less than cheerful demeanor in those days. Because I'll admit, looking back, I was a complete pain in the ass during those days, and probably far worse than I am now. And that would be a mindset that would not only affect me in online gameplay, it would affect me in my actual real-world life, costing me several different valuable relationships with different women, and even job and career opportunities. And I would eventually end up involved in some kind of online drama with a few of the members in this group. And I just decided that the best thing for me to do would be to leave. And, maybe let stuff cool down for a while and come back to them later. And so I started bouncing around different groups, and outside of that group, I was given leadership responsibilities in a number of different league shows and guilds, which is something I absolutely hate. I still hate it to this day. I don't mind helping people out when I play online. I just don't want to feel like I have to do it. But I digress. The bouncing around eventually led to me going to Siren Server for a little while with a core group of players from Titan that I always held in higher regards. And the Omega Rose, though, eventually would return to Titan, and I made a comfortable home for myself with the Vagrant Moogles Guild, or Link Shell, whatever you want to call it. And I remained in that group until 2009, when circumstances dictated I had to make some life changes, and Final Fantasy XI and I had to stop seeing each other anymore. Though the reason I bring up those two stories is that's the connection between the new brand name I've been given the channel. Since it's about those two, since the gaming and writing are both major aspects of who I am as a person, I felt giving myself that Omega Rose moniker again was the best way to unify it all under one banner, a rebranding of sorts. And it was that second group of FF11 players that would shorten the Omega Rose to Theo. And even now, there are those on my Facebook page and other social media sites that refer to me as Theo, not my actual first name. And I've been called different versions of it over the years. Omega, TOR, to go back to the Poet Sanctuary days. But Theo was the variation that stuck with me for the last 15 years. So I decided, let's adopt this into the channel. And that character name has followed me into other areas of gaming even. I mean, in multiple WWE games, I have created different Theo characters and worked them to World Championship status. My Elder Scrolls Online character, even though it only displays my actual gamer tag, or PlayStation Network ID, rather, but I actually named the character Theo Dragonsbane. And I played Final Fantasy XIV, a Realm Reborn edition, as Theo Lionheart. And in the Fallout universe, I've played almost every single game under some variant of Theo, and Theo in the online gaming world is known for some interesting adventures. No, seriously. Ask around about Theo Lionheart and his obsession with chicken titties. But I digress. I feel as though since both variants of my online screen name have followed me for many years, I thought it would be a mistake to not utilize that important part of who I've been into who I am now going forward as I establish myself in a new age and a new time, where I've got my eyes kind of wide open and hopeful that something good can come of me still in these years yet to come. Thank you all for watching my video, and like, comment, share with your thoughts, opinions, anything you want to see from this channel and going forward. I am open to ideas, though I'm thinking with the rebranding and how much of a fan I am of the series, I think it might be time to set the world on fire with some Fallout. Thank you for watching.